And we're back to another video. Mitchell, welcome back to the channel. It's been so long since
we've had you. It's been too long, Jason.
It's been way too long. We always go, let's make a video. The last one was a banger, and then I don't know, you see a rabbit and go running off and chasing after it.
It's really, I've just been hiding from you is the thing.
Today we're going to be reviewing a plane that could cross the Atlantic in 3.5 hours and why it actually failed, because it's from like the 90s. Can you believe that? Are you ready for this?
This is like actually insane. I hope you guys know this is like insane. This would have changed everything. I feel like you'd be like crunched flying in that plane. It's probably a lot bigger than I think.
No, imagine when you fly in that plane, it's like this.
Yeah, you have to be like that.
And it's going so fast. Like imagine like all that G-force when you're flying like that. That'd be uncomfortable.
We had it. From January 21st, 1976 to October 24th,
it literally looks like a
2003,
claw.
we had a commercial supersonic passenger plane called Concorde. Today, it takes 7 hours to fly from New York to London. On the Concorde, it took about 3 hours and 30 minutes, just under 3 hours if it was record time. A journey that would have taken the Titanic 137 hours had become just barely long enough to watch Titanic while crossing the Atlantic. The Concorde came to represent class, style, and the miracle of engineering. Here's a normal plane landing, and here's the Concorde.
My man's was petting a plane. That's why it failed. That's why I missed that. Look at this. Watch this.
Oh my god! That's a good plane.
The Concorde landing. Which one are you looking at? With Concorde, we all looked up and pointed, and then in 2003...
I feel like when people pictured, like, plane travel, they picture something like the Concorde, not like what we have today. My best plane ride of all time, when I came back from Korea, they didn't card me, and I was still 20.
You just gotta go ham.
And it was free beer, free wine. I just got super drunk. I watched Zootopia for the first time, and then 30 minutes later, I rewatched it, forgetting I watched it.
Like, I had to go pee like 8 times on like a 5-hour plane trip, and these dudes in the back of the plane, they were rappers. They were just getting schmacked off shots and stuff. I was too young to do that or whatever. But so I go back, the 4th time or 5th time I go back there, they're like, bro, this kid's been back here like 5 times. Like, this is sus. And like, I hear that. I finish my pee. I'm walking back. I'm like, I'm building something.
We had commercial supersonic flight and just let it go. Why? Why did the Concorde become a museum exhibit? This is the Smithsonian's Concorde, and the curator who got it...
Have you been to the Smithsonian?
Too.
I did see.
Oh, it's cool.
You know, the color
It looks
of the
cool.
sky at
They have the bit. Have you heard of the Hope
Bob
Diamond?
Vander Lyden works there?
Who's that?
I don't know.
The Bob?
The answer says something about how innovation really sticks, and it's complicated.
I've got a personal interest in the SST, and I'd like to tell you about it.
SST
is an STD.
equals supersonic transport, any transportation that's faster than the speed of sound. It
Imagine a
became dream after
supersonic
Chuck
STD.
Yeager broke the sound barrier in 1947, and a technological race in the 1950s and 1960s combined Cold War competition with a classic mid-century faith in engineering. Americans, Russians, and the British and French governments dumped hundreds of millions of dollars into supersonic R&D. Think rooms full of engineers in short sleeves and ties. The then
I feel like they'll
Seattle-based
answer this later on, but why don't you think they try to create this now with the new technology?
Honestly, I don't know. Hopefully they get to it.
Boeing won the American design contract in 1967. That's where a certain basketball team got its original name.
NBA 2K 1994. That dude has a face.
That's like...
Looks like a skull.
Looks like
Thomas
a frowny
the
face.
train.
Yeah, like
Thomas the plane.
it looks like a bird.
It looks like Thomas got punched in the face and he's now Thomas the plane.
This is me being the Concorde.
Really spotty record over just
He looks like
55
he's
flights.
Naruto running backwards.
Yeah.
But
For real.
there was a winner.
Concorde, the paper dart jetliner conceived jointly
That
by
just looks
Britain
fake.
and France
Looks like a
to
paper
shrink the
airplane.
world
Yeah.
and cut air journey times in half.
From the beginning, Concorde was a marvel of design. It wasn't designed with computers, but through math and trial and error. They had to innovate constantly to make a supersonic passenger plane possible.
Imagine if they made one of these,
Very
but it
long
took
and
no
narrow,
gasoline.
to go supersonic.
It was
and
just
comfortable.
like
Solar
electric.
And the
powered.
paint was
Yeah.
twice as reflective
See,
as other
clearly
jets.
this is fake. You can see the lines. Look at the lines. Clearly this is fake.
No, that's a real plane.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Just to
Well,
compensate.
I
No.
think that's just
from air
clouds, like...
friction.
Because you're
You know?
traveling at
No,
Mach
there's-
2, twice the speed of sound. Even though you're at 60,000 feet, the airframe would actually heat up. dramatically.
Oh my God.
So I actually, touched the
It was
window.
260
It wasn't warm, it
degrees
was
in
hot.
there.
Fuel
Or on the
flowed around
outside.
the plane during flight.
So
to
how
adjust
hot
its
was it
center of gravity
inside?
for takeoff, cruising, and landing.
So these pumps are working the whole flight, but you can't tell.
But it was
they
the
have a
beautiful
crazy
wing
cooling
that
system in there.
distinguished the
Yeah.
Concorde for its greatest fans.
That shit's
It's
a sauna.
a Delta
It
wing,
looks
but
like
it's
a
called an
pretty
ogival
big
Delta wing
plane.
because of its unique
Yeah.
shape.
Delta because it was triangular like the Greek delta, ogival to reference its curve. The delta wing helped the Concorde get lift at takeoff and limit drag while in flight. The rest of the plane compensated.
The one compromise
kinda
in
small.
it
There's,
would
like, no
require the aircraft
windows.
to have a very high angle of
they're so
attack on
small.
takeoff and landing.
Yeah.
Since pilots couldn't see out of the plane because of angled landing, engineers put together a solution.
I was about to say that, like the pilots couldn't see.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you can't just throw that in there when like talking about a plane. Like, yeah, the pilots couldn't see, and then a pause. So we had to think of something. Like,
What do you mean you had to think of it's like that should have been number one priority. All right, we've done it. We've designed the plane. The guys get in, they go, what? Can you see?
We're basically a bat.
Yeah.
What we're saying, we're blind, but we're fast.
Imagine just hearing on the intercom, welcome to the first test flight of the Concorde, and we cannot see.
I can't see anything. Help!
Yeah.
You got that from the pilot.
They forgot to unclick the buzzer. I had a teacher who was colorblind, and he went on flying lessons. And the first time he flew at night, the person's like, "Okay, land when the lights turn green," and he goes, "I don't know what color green is."
So you can't be a pilot if you're colorblind.
Well, yeah.
Get better eyes.
Can
am I
people
right?
even? Am I right? For Melvin and looking at
Logan Paul looking at.
Is Logan Paul colorblind?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Oh.
They have those pills. Have
We
you
should
seen
try
those?
those for a video.
I'm
How many
looking-
likes for us to try those for a video?
If y'all know what we're talking about, there's these pills you can take where it will make something very sour sweet. It
Would
can-
you be down to try those?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I gotta order them for the next video.
I'll eat a fucking ghost chili pepper and it might actually not hurt. Just kidding, I will never eat
How
one
many
of those
likes?
ever
How many
again.
likes? How many likes?
If you guys saw Jesse's video, do my throat.
We'll
Alright,
both
Jason
do it.
said it here first.
We'll both
1,000
do it.
Likes,
We'll
Jason
both
will
do it.
eat a ghost chili pepper.
We'll both do it.
No tasting orientation needed.
I
1,000
get-
likes, you have to do the hot sauce. But
Deal.
5,000.
Deal.
Okay.
And just for the record, the chili, like, I can't even use Chipotle sauce. Like, Chipotle salsa makes me, like, tear up.
Yeah.
That's on you guys. Please, anyone who's watching this, don't tweet this video out because
Definitely hit that like button.
Droop snoot?
Yeah. The
Droop
would
Snoop.
droop.
The snoot drooped.
The reason
Snoop
the
droop.
dogs were Delta wing design and
dude,
had a
imagine
very
being a
high angle of
rapper known
attack
as
on
Droop
landing.
Snoop.
So in
That's
order to
low-key
see,
fire.
they
Right.
would
We're
lower the
gonna drop a
nose.
song.
It flew
If
at
I do, it's gonna be under the tag Droop Snoop.
Droop Snoop.
more than 1,300 miles an hour, faster than the Earth spins.
You couldn't tell. The only way you knew you're doing Mach 2 was that they had a Mach meter up on the
That's
bulkhead.
crazy.
And everybody was focused on that because it would creep
Oh
up.
my
And
God.
As soon as it went Mach 1, everybody would break out into applause.
To minimize drag,
Christ, they all
it
look like
soared
Bill
so
Gates.
high
Look, it's either Bill Gates or Biden. That's the entire plane. Is
That's a
filled with
plane full of just old white men.
that. Yeah.
Got into applause.
To minimize drag, it soared so high you could see the Earth's curve.
That's
The Concorde
crazy.
defined the glamour of high-speed flight.
Now, this is a very important part of the seven-piece wardrobe, this washable dress that you wear in hot climates.
And it had the admiration of celebrities like Sting.
Well, it's always exciting flying supersonic, and it's always exciting to get to New York before you've left.
It was a stratospheric cocktail party.
I couldn't tell you.
Normally people
Drinking
complain
too
about how
much.
bad the
Yeah,
airline food is.
he's like,
I
it's
will
exciting
attest,
to
in
get
this
there
case,
before you've
That's
left.
not true. This is one of the best meals I ever had. It worked beautifully.
Oh, come on.
a
One of the
normal
best
French meal
meals
takes
you've ever
2.5 to
had.
3
Deviled
hours.
eggs. And
Well, by the time dinner was over, we were here.
So, what went wrong? On July 25th, 2000, the Concorde punctured a tire during takeoff for Air France Flight 4590. 113 people died. Though failure happened shortly after takeoff, it was due to a problem specific to Concorde tires. The plane was grounded until November of 2001. By that time, the September 11th attacks had already depressed the industry. But while both tragedies did affect Concorde, there are only a couple of pieces of the fundamental challenges for the plane. Noise levels on takeoff were high, but massive supersonic booms had no comparison. In the 60s, the Air Force ran a test of sonic booms over Oklahoma City, and residents reported hundreds of damaged windows and noise disturbances.
Oh my god.
All that meant limiting supersonic
Imagine getting your
flight
window
to above
broken
the
from a
ocean.
plane.
There would be no New York to LA Concorde. That's part of what quashed the American supersonic experiment with Boeing, and it limited demand for supersonic planes from the beginning. Noise concerns were paired with environmental concerns.
There will be severe environmental damage to the ozone layer.
The plane's high flight pattern made scientists think its exhaust gas could be more threatening to the ozone than normal jets.
What was noticeable was that you kept climbing and climbing and climbing. We're flying much higher than a normal airliner.
A massive fleet of supersonic planes
I didn't even
probably
think
would have
about the
caused
ozone
real
part.
damage,
That makes sense.
setting red flags for a supersonic future. Fuel requirements also limited range to transatlantic journeys without any trans-Pacific cash cows. It guzzled enough
How much do you
fuel
think it costs to
that
buy a
price
Concorde right
fluctuations could hit
Like a decommissioned
particularly hard.
I don't know. I couldn't
With
even
ticket
tell you.
prices as high as $12,000 a
In the
seat,
billions, right?
that was a significant
God, imagine
risk.
paying
And
$12,000
tickets had to
for a
be
flight
expensive,
ticket.
since at most
Just to get your
only
flight, like, cut in
120
half.
passengers could fit on the plane.
Yeah.
It couldn't distribute the price tag.
I mean, I could
That
see
was
like,
compounded by
oh
the
my
need
god, they're
for
not even making
specially
enough money
qualified
even
crew
at that
members
rate.
and maintenance that came at a premium, and it was all for a very demanding crowd.
But imagine how cool it would be, like, if you have a business trip and
British
like
Airways had to
you
position
need, especially like
a
here to
spare
New York,
Concorde in New
You're
that'd be like a
running late,
40-minute
You know,
flight.
the flight back had problems. So there's an airplane sitting on the ground, not making any money, just in case. Because Concorde passengers expect, to walk onto a Concorde because they paid a lot of money to it.
None of these factors stopped the Concorde, but they all boxed it in until it had nowhere to go but down. When Air France and British Airways announced the Concorde's closing on April 10th, 2003, it wasn't about the past, but the future. The manufacturer, Airbus, decided supporting the Concorde was impossible. An aging Concorde, it still had analog controls and a flight engineer, both of which newer planes had lost, would cost too much to upgrade or redo. In a way, Concorde's economics were similar to this toy model's economics. I got it for $10 because the manufacturer could distribute the cost of factory workers, tooling, and distribution over thousands of cute planes. Airbus loves doing the same with its family of jets. Even if a flight were profitable for an airline, the airline couldn't afford a new small batch of airplanes.
This is so interesting.
All the factors that boxed in Concorde kept its scale so small it would be wildly unprofitable to service, rebuild, or revive. The best option was to land for good.
So,
Concorde.
do you think
We
they
like to
could
think
ever
breakthroughs
solve
only
these
end-
issues? What I'm thinking is they can never beat the speed issue because you're still always going to shatter windows. So flight can only get so fast, right?
Yeah, they'll just have to take different routes, I feel like.
But like if you want to do like LA to New York, right? You still have to go over all of America.
Yeah.
So they can't do like a Concorde. Like they can never get this fast.
And the pollution part, but I feel like that could be solved.
Yeah, that could maybe be solved. Like I don't know. How bad do you think it would be if you and I designed a plane together?
Yeah, dude, I can only make paper airplanes, and I can make like decent paper airplanes.
The only time I've ever made a paper airplane in my life that actually flew was for Jesse's video. For those of you, I'm gonna put a video right here. It's Mitchell trying to glizzy a
No, me
paper airplane.
throwing. Paper
Oh, you
airplanes.
never tried to catch?
Who made it?
The story was, I was in elementary school. I made a beam of a paper airplane. I threw it, and it got stuck in a girl's eye.
You just sound like you're a bully when you were younger.
I didn't mean to. It just had a mind of its own.
I only say that because I just watched your video on your customizing face masks, and the whole time your sister was like, yeah, he broke my arm, he gave me a concussion, he just terrorized me the whole time. Go watch Mitchell's video if you want to see how he terrorized his siblings.
Because of disaster, with a crash. But they can fall short without disaster, despite a breathtaking wing or a jaw-dropping droop snoot. They have to come with a business model and supply system, a political resolve, and a plan to expand. Even as future dreams for supersonic transport simmer, all those business model questions remain unanswered.
They don't exist unless they make money. Some people don't
I mean,
like
that makes
idea,
sense.
but it's a fact of life. They're there to make money. And if they're making a product that doesn't make them money, they'll either stop making it or they'll go out of business, or both. You never know.
So the flight time to London can return to a double feature slog. But we lose something with the drudgery. Progress slows, and we have to wait for something else to look up at. Something worth pointing at.
That was cool.
great. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Concorde? Would you fly one?
Yeah, I would. I mean, yeah.
I feel like I'd try it because they only had one crash in like 20 years.
Yeah.
I feel like environmental wise, I don't want it to exist.
Yeah, true. Environmentally, it's the worst. And they were saying at the end they're working on a quieter version.
I know they're working on like experimenting with nonstop like here to like Australia flights, which would be like 20 hours with no layover, or like 18, and they're just having pilots like
switch off.
Yeah, but they're still testing like their oxygen levels, their actual sleepiness. Like they're doing all this stuff to test it to make sure it's safe. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Moochie, thank you for coming out.
Hey, thank you for having me, Gosu.
And if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to like it down below. Comment down below if you'd fly on the Concorde because I think it's pretty dope. And thanks for watching.
Yes, sir.